like to call the meeting to order of the Kansas City, Kansas Community College Board of Trustees, September 17, 2019. And now we will be led into the Pledge of Allegiance by Matt Fowler.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Now we will have roll call.
Trustee Ash?
Here.
Chair Brown?
Here.
Trustee Criswell?
Here.
Trustee Daniels?
Here.
Trustee Garner? Trustee McIntyre?
Here.
Trustee Sutton?
Here.
Thank you. And now may I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
It's moved and seconded that we approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. Now we will have audience to patrons. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak this morning? You can come forward. We have a 5-minute limit time.
Thank you very much. I'm Alan Organ, Partnership Specialist from the United States Census Bureau. Today is Constitution Day, the day the Constitution was signed, and in it, Article 1, Section 2, Paragraph 3, 3 years after the first Congress and every 10 years thereafter, we will do a census of all residents in the United States. I'm here today to let you know that in eastern Kansas, we are massively hiring people. It's the largest peacetime hiring ever. We will have 400 to 500,000 people hired by the end of the census. Kansas City, Kansas is very important. We have some very hard to count areas here. And if you don't know, there is so much federal funding that comes back based on decennial census data for education, for the colleges, for the universities, for our school districts, besides our representation in Congress. So we're offering jobs. I have information that I will leave with you. We pay $17 an hour in the Kansas City area for students. They need to be 18, have a driver's license, and be U.S. citizens, and pass a background check, since we work for the federal government. The other thing I'd like you to consider is allowing me to talk to the Student Senate to form a complete count committee like we've done in Kansas City, Kansas, and unified government of all the student organizations, so we can get the word out to the students why it's important and where they should be counted. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, I would just support that. I would hope we'd allow him this presentation to the Student Senate. I think this is a really critical issue, not only for our state, but Wyandotte County and our college. So I think we need to do everything we can to support that census program. So thank you for coming this morning.
Yeah. Right, I would be in agreement with that as well. Yes. So.
And I would add to that that the college is very supportive of that as well. Not only is it important to get an accurate count, but also provide some job opportunities for our students as we are looking to have a complete census count. So count on the college for your yes. Full support.
Yes, we gave it full support in 2010, so I expect that we would continue that.
You mentioned hiring students. I guess you wouldn't be opposed to some older people also?
Well, aside from the fact that children 0 to 5 years of age and our seniors like us, that's the hardest two groups to count. So no, seniors could definitely work for us. Okay.
Thank you.
There is no age limit. This is federal government.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Sandra Dark, and I am the district coordinator for District 23 of AARP Tax Aid. We serve the Wyandotte County area. We have 5 sites where we do tax preparation from February 1st to April 15th. Now, I've been volunteering for 10 years. This will be my 11th year, and all of that time we have been doing taxes here at the college. Now, AARP tax aid, you don't have to be an AARP member for us to do your taxes. Our target age group is senior citizens, but we do taxes for anybody. First-time job people, students, and we do taxes for the students that attend the college. Now, during that time, we've been able to have our training and tax preparation here free of charge. This year, we will be charged the $75 administration fee. And it is AARP's policy not to pay these types of fees. This year, we will pay the $75 fee out of our emergency funds. But I'm here today to ask for you to waive that $75 fee. Otherwise, we will have to look for a new place next year. And people have gotten used to coming to the college. You know, they know that it's here. At this site, we are first come, first served, so they don't need to make an appointment. They just show up. And almost every day, we turn taxpayers away because we don't have that much time. We do try to direct them to our other sites. I know that you have a VITA site here. They do taxes in the evening and on Saturdays. Sometimes that's more convenient for them. So I'm just here today to ask you to waive that additional $75 fee. That way we can continue to come back to the college.
Quick question. How many people do you serve, just approximately?
Sure. This past year, we did 474 returns. Some of those were current year and some of those are past year.
Mm-hmm.
But in the total for all our 5 sites was 1,042. So you can see that the college plays a big part in the community that we serve.
So thank you for your input, and I'll just add, previously the college did not have a consistent mechanism or process on how we provided space to community members or profit or not for profit. So we've developed a new process that we're looking at for organizations such as yourself. We don't charge the room rental fee. We don't charge, in this case, any setup fee if it's necessary or not, or janitorial for additional cleanup. We have waived all of that, but to be consistent across the board, because there is time put into creating and reserving the rooms and everything. The only fee that we put in that we don't waive is that administrative fee. So that just helps pay for the process, and all other fees have been waived, but I do appreciate your input.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now we will move to recognitions and presentations. American Association of University Women, presented by Shai Perry and Jolene Morrell.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I am co-advisor of AAUW with Jolie Morrell. Unfortunately, she's sick this morning. This year, we sent our biggest group of young women to the National Conference in Washington, D.C. for AAUW Women Student Leaders, 4 of which received scholarship at the national and state level to attend this conference. Carol Pineda, Edith Garcia, Jordan Paxton, and Billy Concord all received scholarships to attend. The rest of the finances for that we fundraised and had a big support from student activities. Also, another note of one of the scholarship recipients, Jordan Paxton, she was our youngest person to attend from our college at age 14. She's a dual enrollment student. Today, we have 3 people. They are going to give you a presentation about their experience at the national conference and what they learned to bring back to our campus. This is Jordan Thaxton, not to be confused with the other Jordan. We have two Jordans, Edith Garcia and Faith Matthews. So I will let them take this over.
All right.
All right, so my name's Jordan Thaxton. I'm a studio arts major here at KCKCC. I'm also a returning student, and first of all, I'm very fortunate for the opportunities here. This was my third time traveling with a club, and I'm very happy to be a part of AAUW as well. But at the conference, there were many sessions that provoked a lot of self-reflection and leadership and our personal lives. There was one session that particularly stuck with me. It was called Building Your Legacy. In the session, we were asked how much we currently are in alignment with our goals. And we had to think about what does the person we want to be look like and what experience do we need. And we were told that when we can honestly self-reflect, we can start turning our intentions into actions. And to actualize our goals, we did an activity to write a personal mission statement. And I still have mine, which is dream with accountability, seek purpose and speak intentionally, stand honestly and reclaim passion. The purpose of the activity was to show us that success is self-defined, but to be successful, we actually have to define it in our own words, based off our values, goals, priorities, and dreams. Learning how to put my vision into words not only assures me in my confidence in decision-making, but is a lifelong commitment to my values, leadership, and serving my community, as well as my college. So that's what I got from the conference.
Fantastic.
Very good.
Okay, good morning. My name is Edith. I've been studying English here for 1 year. I'm in level 3. And also I've been vice president of AAUW since last semester. Today I'm going to share my Neguazul experience. It was my first time ever and was amazing for me. I learned to spend time with my friends, and we met a huge University of Maryland. We have too many workshops, and one of those impact me and was how you can get out of your comfort zone. And because sometimes we have goals but never start one goal. So we waste time around, or we have too many excuses because sometimes I have no money, I have no time, I'm older, and something like that. The first thing I learned was we need to break our bad habits and start something small. Maybe we need to start with a small goal to feel comfortable with. So makes me feel good because I work in Amazon, and sometimes my managers ask me about if I want to become an ambassador. And the first time I say no, because I need training people, and I know speak English very well, but I say no. After this conference, I feel more comfortable, and I say, okay, I can do it. I think this is the best way to improve my English. And that was my experience, was amazing, and thank you.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Excellent.
Good job.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Faith Matthews Cousineau, and I am a member of AAUW, and my major is pre-nursing, and with a tentative graduation date of this December. Really looking forward to that. I've been engaged in a lot of activities, Student Senate, OQS, was president last year. I really appreciate the opportunity to be a part of AAUW. As it was an amazing experience for me as probably arguably the most openly visible queer trans student we have here in KCKCC. It's an honor. In queer spaces, I am accepted as a woman largely, and it's a great experience in small spaces. I have lots of amazing cis women in my life that accept me, but this was the first time that in a large community of women and femme-identified human beings that I was welcomed as a sibling and a sister, and it was an amazing experience. One thing that was impressed me about, I learned a lot about KCKCC and what we do right and what we get right. The Nick Whistle was all about diverse and inclusive voices, and when I looked at, compared us to what the programming was presenting and other colleges, what they brought, I realized we're probably the most diverse group of students here. We had ages from 14 to 41, me being the 41. We had people from different countries, different first languages. There was at least 3 of us openly queer people and me as a trans person. So I think that's not only a reflection of the leadership of our student group, but I think it's a reflection of KCKCC and your leadership, and that we are dedicated to promoting those diverse voices. The legacy workshop was probably the most impactful, but my other 2 classmates spoke about that. So I'm going to speak about, I went to an empowerment self-defense class, and that is something I would like to bring here, to find someone that can teach that. It was amazing because it's beyond just the stranger danger, keep mace in your back pocket, self-defense. It was a lot about boundaries and looking at that. What are your threats? What are your drains? Being able to say no, even if it's, hey, no, Shy, I can't come to the meeting today because I've got 2 term papers. But it's all about setting boundaries and all about making decisions and empowering yourself and looking at what is in your best interest. And it's not just people that would physically do you harm, but it's also what you need to put your energy and time into. So it was beyond that rote stranger danger simple idea of what threatens us. And as women and femme-identified people, this workshop was not just about defense, but it was about empowerment. And myself and my experiences, I think I took the most away from that. And I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity to send me and us to this conference, and I learned a lot. And thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Right now, they are taking what they learned from this conference and putting it into the planning for Day of the Girl in November, which is a one-day conference for middle school and high school girls, and we are partnering with Young Women on the Move and meeting with them monthly to mentor these young ladies to plan a conference just for them so they can have this experience as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, our next form of business is communications, and Dr. Mosier will read the resolutions that we need to approve.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, everyone. We have 3 resolutions for the consumption of alcohol. All 3 of these items are things that we have done in the past. The Wine and Say Cheese event, the Purses with a Purpose, and our artist talk at the art gallery and a reception. So I'll walk through each one of these individually for your approval. So the first one is a resolution regarding the consumption of alcoholic liquor in accordance with KSA 41-719D, whereas Kansas statute annotated 41-719D prohibits the consumption of alcoholic liquor on public property except where expressly permitted by law, and whereas Kansas City, Kansas Community College, KCKCC, is authorized under Kansas law to exempt from the provisions of KSA 41-719D specified property, which is under the control of KCKCC Board of Trustees and which is not used for classroom instruction. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of KCKCC, Section 1, KCKCC hereby exempts for Thursday, September 26, 2019, from 4 to 6 p.m., the KCKCC Art Gallery at Kansas City, Kansas Community College from the requirement of KSA 41-719D. Section 2, this exemption is granted in connection with the closing reception and artist talk for the art exhibit Borderlands with visiting artist Sandra De La Rosa Jimenez. Passed and approved by the Board of Trustees of KCKCC in a meeting held on September 17, 2019.
Can I have a motion for approval?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve this resolution. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
The second resolution is regarding the consumption of alcoholic liquor in accordance with KSA 41-719D, whereas Kansas statute annotated 41-719D prohibits the consumption of alcoholic liquor on public property except where expressly permitted by law, and whereas Kansas City, Kansas Community College, KCKCC, is authorized under Kansas law to exempt from the provision of KSA 41-719D specified property, which is under the control of the KCKCC Board of Trustees and which is not used for classroom instruction. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of KCKCC, Section 1, KCKCC hereby exempts Wednesday, October 16th, 2019, from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m., the multi-purpose room at the Dr. Thomas R. Burke Technical Education Center from the requirement of KSA 41-719D. Section 2, this exemption is granted in connection with the holding of the Women's Chamber of Commerce of Kansas City, Kansas membership drive and scholarship fundraiser, Purses with a Purpose. Passed and approved by the Board of Trustees of KCKCC in a meeting held on September 17th, 2019.
May I have a motion for approval?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve this resolution. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. And the final is a resolution regarding the consumption of alcoholic liquor in accordance with KSA 41-719D, whereas Kansas statute annotated 41-719D prohibits the consumption of alcoholic liquor on public property except where expressly permitted by law, and whereas the Kansas City, Kansas Community College, KCKCC, is authorized under Kansas law to exempt from the provisions of KSA 41-719D specified property for which is under the control of the KCKCC Board of Trustees and which is not used for classroom instruction. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of KCKCC, Section 1, KCKCC hereby exempts Thursday, November 21st, 2019, from 1 to 7 p.m., the multi-purpose room at the Dr. Thomas R. Burke Technical Education Center, TEC, from the requirement of KSA 41-719D. Section 2, this exemption is granted in connection with the KCKCC Entrepreneurship and Workforce Center hosting a Global Entrepreneurship Week, GEW, event. Passed and approved by the Board of Trustees of KCKCC in a meeting held on September 17th, 2019.
May I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve this resolution. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. All right. Now, do we have any board committee reports at this time?
Just one from the Finance Committee. Really, just to give a preview, an excellent meeting that was held on September 10th. We received an update on the Child Care Center, also talked about the downtown building establishment, and then you'll hear more detailed information from both Dr. Mosier and then Mr. Beach regarding the refinancing of the college debt. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, essentially, we were all at the quarterly meeting this past weekend in Chanute, with the exception of Evelyn. There was a lot of good information shared there. A couple of the highlights, David Boehm from the American Association of Community Colleges was there, gave a presentation about, legislative update, things that are working, that the AACC and the ACCT are working on toward developing legislative agenda, which, as you know, next year, coming up in February, will be the annual legislative summit. So they're busy working on preparing all that. Likewise, for our state association, the same thing is going on. Our new director, Heather Morgan, was so organized and so incredibly efficient. We took in more information, I think, in that one meeting than I think previously we may have done in 2 or 3 meetings combined. But, that was really good. And so, Evelyn, you could talk with any one of us if you wanted really any additional details. But we will be preparing to look at that legislative agenda at our December meeting, which will be at Johnson County Community College. So that's great for all of us. Hopefully we'll all have the opportunity, to participate and attend that. And we're looking forward to, some special presentations that are being worked on to come in there. And other than that, I think maybe, I know that Janice was one that expressed her desire to be considered for a position on the KCKCC Executive Committee. Did any of the rest of you talk with Heather or Julie about that? Did you, Linda?
No, we want to make sure we have at least one, and we don't want to be in competition from this college, so.
Yeah.
So, just Janice.
So that will be, once again, an item that's taken up at the December meeting.
Right.
So, and I had not heard in any of my conversation with any of the other trustees from around the state, that, anyone saying they were or they weren't interested or what's going to happen. And I don't know with the current officers of that executive committee, which ones are intending to stay or go, but I'll be inquiring into that between now and December.
All right, we appreciate that, and we
Yep.
thank Janice for stepping up to take on that responsibility. And it was a great session.
Yes, it
And I
was.
thought we had a lot of information that was given to us, and it was very much appreciated.
If anything stuck out in particular to any of the rest of you, feel free to share.
Okay. All right, thanks for everyone getting the opportunity to.
More of the information about the higher education, the reauthorization of the Higher Education Act. That was a lot of information, too much to share here, but just what's going on with that in Washington, D.C. was very interesting to hear. And then one other speaker we had also was about the census and the importance of the numbers being counted in Kansas.
Correct. Anyone else? Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Now, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Before we do, I have an amendment for item D, approval of personnel items. In the report, it has a promotion for a Huwalt Kinsey. That is actually a new hire versus a promotion.
All right, thank you.
Move approval of the consent agenda with that amendment to item D in the personnel items.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda with the amendment to the item in item D for the personnel items. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. All right, now we will have a report from our Student Senate.
Manny.
All right.
Morning.
Good morning.
How are you guys?
Good.
Very good.
Okay, so let's start off with, let's talk about the things that have been going on with Student Senate. Still, like always, we're still continuing to plan the events that are to come as the year goes forward for 2019 and 2020. For example, the Halloween event that is coming up in October 25th. That's just a good opportunity for us as a college to invite the community, right? So we can have some engagement going on. Sorry. Also, we just last Wednesday we were having our first Student Senate meeting, which it went by. It was great. It happened on September 11th, and
That's suicide prevention, right?
Hmm?
Suicide prevention? Did you say suicide?
No.
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 What did you say? I'm sorry.
Student Senate meeting.
Oh,
Or
okay,
Student Senate
okay, all
meeting,
right,
yeah.
all right, okay.
That was, that was
All right.
my bad, yeah. I need to
Sorry
speak
about
up.
that.
No, you're
Yeah.
fine, you're fine.
I'm like,
And the Student Senate meeting is Facebook Live for students that, can't make it, for example, people that have clinicals, that have work or other academic responsibilities. And what we noticed is that, or what the data showed us is that 238 people, they viewed, and 62 people had some kind of engagement, and that means it's likes, comments, or they shared it, and that's awesome, right? That means that we can definitely utilize social media for our advantage and just spread the word about what we have going on in Student Senate. We facilitated the first soccer game for KCKCC soccer team. The girls won 5-0, so that's awesome, right? We also had the grocery bingo, which is it's bingo with groceries, right? You win, you go up to the table and you get some groceries,
Awesome.
which, as a college student, is great, right? I appreciate it a lot. We also had the Welcome Back Bash and Club Rush, which, man, the engagement that we saw from that was just phenomenal. We had, with the first 12 days of school plus the Welcome Back Bash, we had 777 students sign up for a club. That's crazy. That's about
Awesome.
yeah. That's about 30% of our total student population. And those numbers have been given to their respected clubs. So, from now on, they're responsible for it, and hopefully we can see that same engagement, right? Stick with us throughout the year. And that just kind of took me back, right? That's a lot of people. That's a lot of students that want to be involved. Also, sorry, kind of had like a brain fart. And
relate.
It's early. So, also, the students that signed up, they're going to be taking part on the 41 clubs, organizations, and special interest groups that we have. Which is a great way for me as a student and my peers to just skyrocket our experience here in Kansas Community College. Lastly, for some things that have been going on campus, we have, for example, the Catholic students that host Mass one time every month. The first one was on Wednesday, August 28th. The next one is tomorrow, right? We have the Mindfulness Club that hosts weekly meditation and relaxation workshops, which is great, right? You can de-stress from the test and the essays and everything that comes along with being a student. So, do you guys have any questions for me before I
No questions, but just a comment. Were you here at the beginning of the meeting when Mr. Organ spoke from the census?
Yeah,
Bureau?
I was. They
Oh,
actually
good, okay.
they reserved a table, but unfortunately nobody showed from their team. But they definitely they reserved a table.
Okay, no, I was talking about Mr. Organ, who gave a presentation that spoke about the jobs for the Kansas City, Kansas Community College students.
For the Welcome Back Bash and Club Rush, they reserved a table so they could have the opportunity to talk to our students. But like I said, nobody showed to.
Right, and we'll help to bridge that gap. We'll make sure that you receive his information, because I believe he had mentioned that he would like to come and present to the Student Senate, and that way we can get the word out, to the students about those available jobs, so.
Actually, if I may, working with Dr. Wilson through Student Affairs, there is a meeting that is being set up with the students and a couple representatives from the census about some of those job opportunities.
Excellent.
It is, that meeting is today, as a matter of fact, at noon. So we will have Melinda Stanley, who is their associate representing the Kansas side, who will be meeting with us and her team. We will have our deans and also Mark Turner, who's with our career services, joining us. So our goal is to see how we can partner together to really encourage our students to fill out the census, but also look at ways where our students can potentially have jobs.
Right. Excellent.
We'll let you know what happens.
Excellent.
Yeah, Melinda Stanley was the presenter when we were at Neosho County Community College.
Yep.
One of the presenters.
And I would like to congratulate you on your outstanding start for the semester and getting that many students engaged. That's one of those things that ensure completion for the semester and completion toward a degree is that student engagement.
Yeah.
So way to go.
Thank you, thank you.
I wanted to know if you dunked the president in the dunk tank.
Miss Andrika did. She was the first.
I saw that on
Miss Andrika dunked Dr. Moja. She was the first person to do so, yeah.
He got wet several times.
I have that as one of the key items of my report. Thank you.
Well, and the DJ was good, and the dancing, those who were brave enough to come out and dance are to be complimented. That was a good little activity.
Yeah, it was a great event. There was food, there was plenty of food, there was music, there was dancing. It was great. It was great. You saw Dr. Moji get dunked, if you were there. I was dunked myself. Multiple times, yeah.
I think Manny and I were like the key draw to the dunking team.
Donkeys.
Yeah.
It was cold.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. Any other questions or comments or anything like that?
Thank you so much.
Move approval of his report.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We accept the report. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
All right. Now we will go to our president's report.
All right, thank you, Chair Brown. So as Manny mentioned, we talked about we had the dunking tank at the Welcome Back Bash, which was definitely a lot of fun. And thank you, Andrika, for being my first dunker. I think I was the dunkee then. Yeah, that's the right terminology. So good. First, I'd like to echo Trustee Ash's comments about the KCKCC meeting. It was a very informative and a very productive meeting, and Director Morgan did a terrific job with that. During those meetings, the presidents get together in our Council of Presidents meeting and talk about things that are taking place at the state and the national level. And really impressive to bring 19 presidents together, and we're really communicating with one voice. We all have very similar missions across the state, but serve different populations and different needs. And moving forward, we're really wanting to talk with one voice. That's been very beneficial as we talk about budget and funding opportunities for the years ahead. With that, we have a proposal that is moving forward, and because we are speaking with one voice, it has had more impact than my understanding that has been had in previous years. Also, we really want to be able to support and publicly our DACA students and our dreamers. So the ACCT board and the AACC board has put together a letter that will be going to Congress, and on the behalf of KCKCC, I have signed that letter to support our DACA students and our dreamers. So moving on, really excited. Coming up very soon will be the grand opening, the open house, and the ribbon cutting for the Little Leaders of KCK. So, yeah, it's been a lot of work by many people, but it's going to be exciting to see it open. So they're bringing in furniture and setting things up right now. Mr. Beach has numbers on how many students are enrolled. He provided that to me. I don't have that with me right now, but it's looking very good. So there will be a ribbon cutting. It's kind of a special invitation for the Board of Trustees and Cabinet and the college community. If you're interested in that, the ribbon cutting takes place Wednesday, October 2nd at 5:30 p.m. at the Child Care Center. They will also have an open house and an outside carnival take place on Friday, October 4th at 5 o'clock. So feel free to attend any of those events. The ribbon cutting is really kind of an internal event for KCKCC and supporters of Little Leaders. And then the Friday event is an open house. So if you have people who are interested in needing child care, please pass that information along. We have the remodeled spaces, especially kind of the watering hole and the classrooms that have been updated, and thank you to the committees who have worked on that. When you walk by the watering hole, previously it used to be pretty much empty. It was kind of a dark, hidden away space. If you walk by the watering hole now, and if you haven't, it's right by the administrative offices. Look down below and you'll see bright colors and comfortable furniture and artwork and computer stations and all sorts of electronic device support, and it's almost always has people in it. About 2 weeks ago, President's Cabinet, we went on our retreat and had a lot of great conversations about the plans and the projects that we have in place and where we're headed for this next year. And kind of as a continuance of the discussion at Convocation, how do we build and create a culture of excellence across the institution? With that, we also want to look at how do we communicate across the institution, horizontally and vertically. How do we help get the message out on what is going on and what needs to be done? And everybody, again, going back to kind of like Council of Presidents, we want to be able to speak with one voice, and we want to provide people the input to that. So we'll be doing a lot this year around excellence in communication. A couple other specific items, and Dr. Krieger will have more information on this, but the GED program out at the University of Kansas Health System has been just a great success. She'll share some more numbers with you, but there is a graduation celebration for the first cohort of students that have gone through that program out at the hospital. And if you're interested in attending, it's October 22nd at 3:30 p.m. And there will be information with Dr. Krieger on where it is. We can get that to you at a later time. Part of the activities for the beginning of the semester, along with being dunked by a variety of people, I would say, we also held a painting with the Prez outside the Learning Commons, and I see Miss Dottie sitting over there who organized all of that, so thank you for that. I would say we had 25, 30 students attend. We had all the materials and resources so the students could experiment with the acrylic pour painting technique. There's some wonderful pieces that were created, and we may have some more information on that as well. The students get to take those home, so they'll be a lot of fun. We did get some photos of them before they disappear on us. College is also taking part in a Second Chance Pell program, and I think I might have mentioned this before. We are one of 10 colleges in the state of Kansas who is going together in a consortium effort to do the experimental site extension for offering Pell to people who are incarcerated in our federal system. So that is really good. Dr. Krieger has done a great deal of work on that, and we're looking at 2 IT certificates that we would offer at Lansing in combination with our partners at Donnelly College. So we would offer the certificate, they would offer the associate's degree, and then there would be opportunities for bachelor's articulation along with that as well. So a really great project to be doing, and working with a wonderful partner like Donnelly College is very exciting. And that will conclude my report.
Can I have a motion to accept the report?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the President's report. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we will hear from our Vice President of Academic Affairs, Dr. Beth Krieger. I can't get that right.
No worries.
I would like to start my report off with some extremely good news, and I'm going to invite Dean Cheryl Runnebaum up here.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Well, you know I love to present to you all great news, and come on up, ladies, it's okay. These ladies are a portion of our cosmetology team, and we have Amber Crum, Christy Davis, and Deb Wolf. You guys come up. So, as a teacher, I think teaching is a thankless job, right? Usually you hear about the bad stuff, but rarely do we receive news when teachers have went above and beyond. So I have a letter I'm going to read, and then I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Amber Crum to talk about some of the highlights in cosmetology and where they're going. I'll try not to get emotional. I love these things. So, Dear Dean of Kansas City, Kansas Community College, I'm writing to let you know what amazing instructors you have in cosmetology department. I'm a student who just graduated in May of 2019, and I passed my state boards and obtained my license. I'm extremely grateful to the program because I'm currently employed at Beauty Brands as a hairstylist. It seems like it happened so fast once I completed the course, but I know if it wasn't for my instructors going above and beyond, I would not have made it. These women wake up every day with a mission to see us succeed. They challenged us daily to bring out our creative side. Most of all, they all had a heart to lend whenever we might be going through life and encouraged us to keep fighting and finish what we started and follow our dreams. I'm so humbly thankful for all of them. The amount of time they invested in me is amazing, and it showed. I'm better because of them. I'm happy and blessed. Please let these wonderful instructors know that they are amazing and they are changing people's lives. Sincerely, Tamaka Campillo. So I'm really proud of this group. In the past year, they have, and Amber's going to talk about changes that they've made to make the program better, coming together as a team, and really doing what's best for the students. So, a little emotional. I'm going to turn it over to Amber.
Thank you. Hello, everyone.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Did you get the microphone? Oh, gosh. I'm so used to not having a microphone, so I could probably just speak and you can still hear me clearly. Okay, so I do have a long list of things we have implemented over the past 2 years, actually. So I won't read them all. I will sum it up. I will say, when I started at KCKCC as a cosmetology instructor, you really do have to, okay.
We have people online that are listening to.
Yeah. All right. So when I started at KCKCC Community College, there was a comment made to me because I'm not from Kansas City, and it was the fact that I was coming to Wyandotte.
There you go. I understand.
Yes. And so my response to that was, why not Wyandotte?
Right.
So what little did they know, they have fueled my motivation.
All right.
So with that, I ran with it. I may have got a little zealous with it. They hung in there with me. All right. So some of the first changes that was made was I kind of looked around at our space, and I realized when I walk in, I want to see something bright. I want to see something motivating. So we started hanging pictures. We've put in new furniture. Started with office furniture, I will admit. We've just made it more inviting. Along the way, we currently actually had a mural put in by a former graduate of J.T. Daniels. And if you haven't had the opportunity to see the mural, please come to our department and take a look. It's beautiful, it's inspiring, it's just that little bit of a change actually inspired the students, actually motivate them to want to come in on time every day. All right. We've also implemented, as far as physical changes, our facial rooms. We have upgraded them into more of a spa-like. And I would like to say, Miss Martha, which is another instructor who is not standing with us here today, she is a licensed esthetician, and so she really helped amp up the skincare portion of the program. We also put in a new curriculum as a pivot point. The reason for that is so we all are singing the same song, teaching the same methods, using the same terminology. Also, like I said, it's a long list. We added a new makeup line for the students to really go along with the skincare, doing providing makeup applications, which soon we'll be providing it for the public. So, we do have services. Come see us. We would love to, provide services for all of you. Also, we have implemented the Student Elite Scholarship for students. Sometimes students, like we all, might need a little bit of help along the way. That's right. All right, so that has been implemented. Currently have put together a refresher course. What that is for those who may have graduated and wasn't able to take their boards right away. So they may have to come a little later on, and we now have a refresher course where they'll come for an amount of 30 hours to get them prepared to take their practicals. So it's never too late. Also, we have been building partnerships with salons and different businesses that are looking, actually they're calling us to come see our students, to extend job opportunities to our students. And the list continues. All right. Also, because our students are wonderful, wonderful students who deserve just as much of a shining moment as anyone. Therefore, previous semester, we have started senior interviews. We have partnered with John Brett and his media production down at the Tech. So they come in, they interview the students. They also will record them as they're working and put together a short video in their words of their experience as a cosmetology student. And there's still more. Okay, so being that we have amped up, and like I said, I'm going to cut it short, amped up all these things within the program, it has increased the pass rate tremendously. So, like I said, I'm very thankful to be a part of the team and, my co-workers. So, like I said, it's exciting. I can go on and on forever because that's what I do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Yeah, she is.
Do you have any questions for our amazing team?
What are the hours of operation of the spa? Definitely got my ears. Right.
Microphone, okay. Hours of operation, they are Tuesday through Friday. Tuesday through Thursday, we start appointments at 9:30. Friday, we start at 8 o'clock.
I see. Okay, excellent.
Oh, until 3.
Until 3.
Thank you.
Okay. Excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you. Any other questions?
How many students you have in the program?
Currently, we have 60, it's about 67 in the cosmetology. There is a nail tech program as well, and that's additional, I believe, like 25.
So, yeah, almost 100, yeah. That is excellent.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Love
Appreciate
your
you.
enthusiasm about the dot.
Oh, yes. Hit him with the dot, that's what I say. In a good way. In a good way.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Sounds
you.
great.
All right,
Sounds
thank
like a
you. Come
fantastic
see us.
job.
Excellent.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Krieger.
I felt that that was extremely important and really, really a wonderful way to highlight the amazing things that our faculty are doing here in our programs here. And so the only other thing I'm going to bring up with my board report is if you take a look, well, two things. First of all, there is a picture on page 6 of my board report of that beautiful mural and some other photos of the cosmetology area, as well as other photos of some places that have been redone in the tech. Let me just get my computer started up again. I apologize. I wanted to call your attention and apologize for the fact that the data provided for the GED and ESL programs in the August board report need to be corrected, and this is on the last page of my board report. You can see the correct information there. The data that was given were actually the number of students who had expressed an interest in GED and ESL, not those who actually register for the classes. And the inaccurate numbers resulted from a variety of items, including leadership turnover, a lack of process, and the use of confusing terms. I have to I'm very happy to say that those items have been addressed and corrected, and the actual numbers are given below. And that in terms of the program down at UKHS that Dr. Mosier spoke of, that we have 26 students in the GED program down there, and if you're interested in attending that, please contact either me or Ms. Risla, and we'll be able to get you the address and whatnot. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you to Dean Wiggins for that update about the pathways at the Harmon High School, that public administration that was talking about the last time. And then I noticed something here that really caught my eye. It says Professor Whitehead is obtained a certification, FFA certification as an unmanned aircraft pilot, and that would allow us to have drones for the students that are doing digital storytelling. Are we going to own drones, or how is this going to work?
We'll have to stay tuned for that for another board report, but
Okay.
it's my understanding that that he is the one who will operate the drone, and that it will be used for the digital media and photography that he's doing. And thank you for the shout out to Dean Wiggins. He's really been working hard on the pathways at the high schools, and I appreciate you saying that.
And also a shout out to Professor Whitehead for
Yes.
getting that certification.
Yes.
Because that will give our students some additional very good exposure.
Yes,
All right.
absolutely. And there's a lot of really, really amazing things that our students and our instructors are doing in this
Yes.
month's board report. And
Yes, it is.
I'd like everyone to give my
Yes,
hand.
amazing. Music, everything. I just didn't want to take up all the time going through all of it, but I read it all and I saw the good things, but that just really caught my attention.
Well, I want to thank you again for your interest in academics. Thank you so much. Anything else?
Anyone else?
Yeah, I had a question.
Yes, sir.
Under Dean Brewer's report,
yes,
she mentions the 6 teachers who completed a certificate in effective college instruction.
Yes.
That sounds like quite an accomplishment. I know you talked about that last year. I'm just curious, are we able to use what they've learned system-wide now? Is there a way to disseminate what those 6 people learned in effective instruction with the rest of the faculty?
That's a very good question. They just completed this, and they're starting to implement it in their classes. And we can have a follow-up report for you on that, but I know there's a lot going on in the Center for Teaching Excellence to promote learner-centered pedagogy, and not only to have these folks help spread it around in their departments and whatnot and test it out, but we also have the learning spaces, where many instructors are trying those out and seeing if they can use the techniques that they've learned. And again, we can get you a little more of an update of what's going on in the Center for Teaching Excellence, because I know Dean Brewer has a lot of exciting things planned, and also for online to try to make the courses there more interactive as well.
It just looks like a great resource.
It is. It's a wonder, and I want to point out that several of the instructors on there are adjuncts. Yes.
Thank you. Look forward to hearing more about that.
Yeah, we'll have more, if not October, in the very near future, once we get it all together. And I greatly appreciate your interest in that, because learner-centered pedagogy is really where it's at.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Anyone else?
One of the issues at KCKCC happened to be transferability of students with 2-year degrees to 4-year colleges and universities within their majors. So I'm hoping that we have someplace, somewhere where students get a checklist of what currently transfers over, and that we are in communication with these different universities and colleges in different areas to make sure that we ensure as much transferability and articulation as possible. And apparently, I think there may be some more statewide work going on that, but I just, feel it's real important that students are aware of that who are transferring.
Yeah, actually, that's a very good question, because as you speak, I'm already working on several articulation
Good.
agreements, and I'm
Thank
working
you.
on updating them, because they haven't been
Thank you.
updated in a while, and I met with the University of St. Mary a couple weeks ago, and they're very excited about it. We just signed one with, I think it's Central Missouri, and I'm getting used to the names of the different colleges, please forgive me. And I know at the state level, KBOR has an entire list of courses, mostly gen eds, that do transfer, and it's very transparent, which I have to say is better than what happens at a lot of states.
Right.
And Dr. Wilson and I work closely together to make sure that if colleges express an interest in visiting, for example, I believe it was the Central Missouri had an interest, and Dr. Wilson and her team are working to make sure that they have a way to get in here and talk to our students and work with our students. But yeah, I'm really excited about working with Dr. Wilson. I have to say, I hope I don't embarrass her, that I think we work really well together to focus on the students.
Well, thank you so very much for those efforts, because we're saving students time and money after they leave us.
Articulation is something that's always been of interest to me
Problematic.
since it's been of interest to me since I was a young faculty member and was the articulation liaison for the biology department. And I was also chair of the biology articulation task force in Arizona.
Good.
So, yeah, we're in the process of updating those.
Good. And let me know if there's anything that I need to know about that I can relate to our trustees group for the state of Kansas.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much for your interest.
Thank you.
I move approval of Dr. Krieger's report.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the report. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and I'm very sorry, I need to go to Topeka to a chief academic officers meeting, so.
As long as you're working, that's all we need.
Oh, yeah. You do not need to worry about that, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
She's tough.
Yeah, really. Raise that account over there.
All right. Now we'll hear from Vice President Student Affairs report.
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
I should start doing my report in Spanish, and maybe I won't get any questions.
Probably not.
Okay, so like always, I will start with enrollment, and we're very, very excited about our enrollment numbers. Early on in the semester, we were all getting a little bit nervous about where we were heading, but I'm glad to report that as of yesterday's report, which is a little different than the one that you have in your packet, our head count is up 2.6%, so that's an increase of 122 students compared to last year this time, and our credit hours are up 0.70%, which is a difference of 371 students. So for us, we want to make sure that we continue to grow enrollment, and we can only do that with the efforts of every single employee in the college. So I do want to say thank you to everyone for their help. It takes an entire team to help us with this. We've had, during the time that our advisors were enrolling students, we had Dean Stephen Terry, who stepped in there and was doing enrollment. We also had Tiffany Bohm, who stepped in there and helped with advising and enrollment. All of the other deans stayed with us throughout the entire time and helped us with looking for classes, or adding extra classes or opening up extra classes, along with our program coordinators, and obviously our student success advisors and the rest of the team. So I do want to recognize them and say thank you to them for us not being down. So we're up. So good job, everybody. A little bit up, but up. With that being said, as I think most of us have been noticing this trend where high school enrollments continue to grow. So we're up 37.9% there as compared to last year. And I don't know if you guys know this, but we have only 2 individuals who really process all of the high school dual and concurrent enrollment. So that's Lindsay and Mary over in the admissions department. So For 2 individuals, they process 1,297 students, so that's, you know, a big task for them. They work very, very closely with the academic deans to make sure that they continue to grow and strengthen the relationships that they have in the high schools. So we will continue to take care of that relationship because that is our biggest growing population right now, along with our...
I have a question about that
Yes.
real quick, maybe for human resources. Are we going to have a problem staffing, if those numbers continue to grow up in those high school classrooms? Is that going to become a staffing issue of finding teachers to cover those classes?
It's possible. We're already thinking about...
It's a great problem to have.
Yes, it's a great problem to have, so it's not a problem I want to complain about at all. And it's something that, you know, as we continue to grow, if I see that this is something that continues to be a trend, I will be approaching our team to see if we can look into hiring someone else, or how can we realign the division to really be able to serve all of those students. Right now, we have several students who are high school students, but they take courses at the technical education building. Right. And that group is a very special group because they're bussed in or they come in. And in the past, we had one student success advisor who's had, you know, roles that went above and beyond what you would think an advisor would do, like contacting the counselors at the high schools and checking on students and doing bus schedules. Well, unfortunately, we don't have the manpower right now to be able to do that, but we are hoping to here very soon look at how can we continue to support those high school students who are over at the TEC building and help Dean Sherrill with making sure that we, you know, keep those numbers growing. So, and over there, we're up 2.86%. That's an additional 25 students compared to last year, and those are students who are taking classes at the TEC building.
And if I can add one thing as well, as we're talking about our high school students and at Tech, we did a study on how many of our Tech students are actually high school students as well, and it was approximately 42%. So about 360 of the 900 or so students at Tech are also high schools that are not counted on that line item that has HS
Right.
for high schools.
And some of those students are in programs that are not, you know, what we consider your technical education type of programs. There's students in there who are in some other type of programs, like we have students from Dr. Bohm's area who in the health professions who are taking classes there. We have students from Dean Jerry Pope in his area. I think it's music, Dean Pope? Audio engineering. So, you know, it's an area that we need to continue to grow, you know, and foster.
I want to be sure. Dr. Lawyer, did you say the ones at the tech school are not included in the high school count?
That's correct. So the report in front of you is by location, geographic location.
Yeah.
So the high school is the numbers physically at the high school, whether
Right.
it's concurrent or dual enrollment. Right. And then under Tech, those are students specifically at Tech. And about 42% of those are high school as well. So it is a tremendous part of our population.
Yeah.
Quick question.
Yes.
All those students have access to academic support services,
They do.
right?
They do.
Good.
Yes,
Thank
they
you.
do. Yes, ma'am.
And thank you for thinking of that.
Yeah. And today, I don't know if you guys know this, today is Census Day for higher ed. So as of 8 o'clock this morning, whatever numbers Dr. Mahir has in the system will be the numbers that he'll work with our team and make sure that it's reported to KBOR. Wyandotte High School, our downtown location, we have Mr. Jeremiah McClooney from our admissions office who's been serving as an interim over there. Thank you, Jeremiah. We have officially made an offer to an individual to be the site coordinator for downtown. So hopefully by next month, I will be able to introduce this person to the board. We're doing pretty good over there. We have 8 students who are in the office assistant program. We have 9 who in their GED program. We have 37 who are ESL. So that's a total of 54 students. A lot more than I was really thinking for the first time. So for me, I'm excited. We want to continue to, you know, help grow that area. I think the new site coordinator is going to help us a lot because his or her role would not only be to be over there and to serve the students in the evening, but also to form those connections with the community, to go to community events, to make sure that they're helping us advertise, working with our marketing team to get the word out. So we're really excited about that. We're also going to host the first reception at the high school, at the Wyandotte High School. So admissions and student activities have paired together to do a little evening reception with, refreshments for the students over there on the 25th of September from 5 till 7. So we want to make sure that they feel like they're involved with some of the other stuff that we do. Pioneer Center, so Ms. Marcia and her team have been extremely busy. On the 17th of August, they attended what's known as the Fort Leavenworth Pear Day. PAIR stands for the Post-Activities Information and Registration Day, and that is when a new team of military members come to the base to do their leadership training. So during that time, this is when they have a huge room with all the different types of resources and things that they can look into and participate, not only for them as a military member, but for their families. And Marcia said there was 2,500 people in attendance.
Oh, my goodness.
Big group, yeah.
Congratulations.
They also had the Disciplinary Barracks and Joint Regional Correctional Facility annual commencement ceremony, and several of our employees were able to attend along with Dr. Mosier and Dean Pope and Dean Wiggins, Dean Terry, Marcia, John Olson, Ms. Lakshmi, and Sue Courtney. So I was very impressed that there was a group that was able to go to this event and support our students. We had a total of 11 graduates, and they were all getting their Associates of General Studies in Liberal Arts. And some of them were summa cum laude and cum laude and all the good stuff. So we appreciate the support that Marcia and the rest of the team gives to the disciplinary barracks. Military and Veteran Student Services Center, so Mr. Wade Abel hosted a Welcome Back Week, specifically for our military affiliated students. So the first week of class, when Andrika was also doing like Welcome Back, there was other little events that were going on in the Military Veterans Center for those military individuals who were just starting classes with us. September 11th, we did a Military and Veterans, the Military and Veterans Center helped us do a raising of the flag ceremony. This was in remembrance of the victims of the September 11th attack. It was a beautiful ceremony that had quite a bit of our employees and students, and I think I saw some board members too out there, thank you, watching, and we played tap and, the whole bit. So it was very heartwarming. We followed the ceremony with a walk, and the 30-minute walk was something that we did in order to start our initiative for Healthy KCKCC. So since we picked September 11th, the Wellness Center, Rob Crane, and our nurse's office, Ms. Kim Leland, partnered with the Veterans Center to host these walks over in the track. So we had 3 walks, 30 minutes each. We had a little area set up with flags. We gave individuals flags who were out there walking, and they can have a little memorial. We had, water and refreshments. We had music. So the walks were at 8, at 11, at 8, at 10, and at 12. And the interesting part was the 8 o'clock walk had a lot of community members who were already out there walking, and they loved it. They really loved it. So they asked if we can continue to have music for them during the morning walk. So I'm not sure if we'll be able to do that all the time, but Rob and Kim did a great job, and again, that was just the kickoff of the KCKCC Healthy Initiative, so we will host many more of those type of things. There's a correction, question? There is a correction under the Military and Veteran Student Services Center. It says that September 28th is when we celebrate our 1-year anniversary. That's incorrect, I'm sorry, that's a typo. It's September 18th. So tomorrow is when they will be having this celebration from 11 to 1 at the Veterans Center, and that's an opportunity for our students to get to know the staff, get to know each other, get to know our faculty. And under Career Services, we want to welcome Mr. Mark Turner, and I don't know if Mark is here. Possibly not. Mark Turner is not new to us. He's been with KCKCC for a while. He was previously the assessment and testing specialist at the TEC building. With the transition of us doing career services here on main campus at the Student Success Center, Mr. Mark transitioned over to be part of the enrollment management team and will be leading those efforts with helping our students with resumes, interviews, having the connections hopefully with the community along with the help of Ms. Alicia Hooks to post the jobs and maintain a website. So Mr. Mark Turner and Dean Terry and Dean Sean Darrett will have a meeting with, I said earlier today, with the group from the census. And part of that meeting includes that they want to talk to us about how they can help our students find jobs during the census time. So we are anxiously waiting to see what we can do, and Mark will help us lead those efforts. And the last thing that I have was just to overall share with you guys that we will continue to, we're going to be working with our Student Senate, our President Manny, in order to get the students' input on building a culture of excellence. So we'll be reaching out to them, making sure that we get the information out to our students and they help us form that definition. Questions?
I actually have something for you from Mr. Horgan.
Thank you.
Census information for you and your students. Thank you. So yes, so thank you for leading that effort. Just had a real quick question. Looking at the section of the report that speaks to the number of veterans served through our KCKCC Veteran Center, looks like August 2019, or academic year 19 through 2020, looks like there were 281.
Yeah, and I saw that when I printed out, like the report, when I actually printed it out, and I don't think Wade or Stephen are here to help me, but it just said August 281 visitors. So I'm just assuming they had 281 visitors just for the entire month of August. That, that's all I can really go off. They didn't report anything for 18-19 because we had opened, just opened during that time. But I can try to get a little more information to see what the breakdown of that 281 is.
Okay, yeah, I was just wondering if that was attributed to the welcome back activities that had occurred, in a similar time frame. So interesting.
Yeah, it could be. They had
highest number ever.
Several events in August at the Veteran Center, and they hosted several different things, so it could have been a combination.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Okay.
Well, and the thing that really caught my attention was in the advising section.
Yes.
And it talks about it's going to self-enrollment, 12 credit hours, and so how is that going to work? So basically after one semester, they can self-enroll. I mean, we had higher limits, and I'm kind of passionate about this because being here and seeing students fall through the cracks because they get to the very end, ready for graduation, and they realize that they've missed some classes. So what's going to be in place? I mean, are we doing away with the mandatory that we had previously? And if this is what we're going to, what's going to be in place to make sure that students don't get lost through, fall through the cracks as far as their classes?
Yeah, great question. We originally, just a little background information, we originally had what was being called as mandatory advising for any student who had less than 25 credit hours. So they were required to go see an advisor regardless of where they were at. Either academically if they were doing well or if they were not doing well, regardless, they would still have to meet an advisor, and that advisor would have to sit down with them and enroll them for their classes. We changed that to 12, and we did that because a couple of things. We want to make sure that we are, keeping our students away from any barriers that they would feel would cause that they couldn't enroll. We have a lot of students who are higher functioning who don't necessarily have to sit down with an advisor, who have a degree plan, who already know exactly what courses they're going to be taking. And that's the group of students that has been using the self-enrollment tool. We're going to be enhancing that tool because we want to make sure that we have updated, degree plans and make sure that, the students can log into the system and see what classes they've taken and what classes they still have to take in order to graduate. So what advisors are doing is they're being a lot more selective and looking at students who are what we call at risk. So the students who did not do well the previous semester, or the students who got put on financial aid exclusion, or maybe a student who was reported through the early alert system by one of their faculty members, those students will have an advisor that they have to go see and come up with their degree plan and work with them more one-on-one. So we're not stopping the mandatory advising, we're actually continuing it, and for us it's more advising. That piece of sitting down with them is just one touch point. There's a lot more that we want to do with the students other than just sitting down to advise them. We want these advisors to contact them by the phone and check in on them. We want them to be able to send them emails and see how they're doing, reach out to their instructors and see how they're doing.
Okay. As I said, I just want to make sure that doesn't anyone fall through the cracks, because working here previously as director of student activities, and they get to the end and they're very upset. The college in the past has gotten a lot of negative publicity from that, because students said they didn't get the classes that they need so they could graduate on time. So my biggest concern is that we make sure we have something in place so that we don't lose students, because the biggest group that had an adverse reaction with this was our students of color, and particularly our men of color.
Right.
And so we're trying to build that population back up, and we don't want to set something in policy that makes us lose them. And also with this training, you said that there's going to be training to show them how to use this system. Is that training going to be mandatory? Or how will you get the word out that, okay, if you're going to self-advise, you need to take this training?
Well, there's not really training for the students to self-advise. The system is already open where students can log in and see what classes they've taken and what they need to take. What we're wanting to do is for our advisors to work with those students and make sure the students are feeling comfortable with the system. There's little glitches still that happen where a student might log in and they can't self-enroll because maybe they have a hold on their account. At that point, they have to go back anyhow to an advisor. So this is going to be a lengthy process. It's not something that we're going to be able to implement, in one day, but I guarantee you that we're not going to let our students drop and just leave them and ignore them. It's actually a way for us to reach more, to get them out there more, to visit them more by other means other than just the face-to-face.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, kind of along that same line, last year we started, was it an early warning system or something? Do we still have that in place, or that was where the faculty could let advisors know?
We do, but because we're working on trying to implement the new CRM Advise, once that system gets into place, it's going to take away our early alert homemade system.
Okay.
Right? So it's still there, but it's going to go away because we're going to be using our actual colleague Elution, system to help us with early alert.
So still opportunity for if a faculty member has a student that's struggling?
Yes, it's still opportunity. It's still open, so it's still on our website. Our faculty members can still go and, click on the link and refer students to us. So it's still currently open, and we will let them know once we're going to shut it down, so that our faculty knows we're shutting it down. And the good news is you can report these students through, the colleague Elution team, and the message goes directly to whatever advisor that student is assigned to.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I thought the report on international admissions was very interesting and enlightening. In the 5 years reported on, from 16 students over 8 countries to 41 students over 21 countries.
Yes.
I'm going to make a presumption that maybe athletics is responsible for a good portion of that, but maybe not all of it. But that's incredible growth, I think, and that we're serving 21 students from 21 different countries certainly makes us the most probably diverse community college.
And that's why we're so awesome, because of that. Yes, you're right. There is a major growth. Some of it could be from athletics. I know that our Coach Rodriguez from the men's soccer team recruits heavily, and we have several students who are international who are in our soccer team. We have several students in our baseball team. I mean, a lot of our teams do have international students, but I don't think that's the only contribution. I think that there's other areas that are helping us grow with the international students.
I wondered about that because you hear about the school districts have like 60 different languages being. Do we have any idea at the college how many different languages that we're working with and how we address those issues?
I don't.
Tutoring, I know they do.
I'm guessing
Thought they
there's
addressed it
probably a
through
pretty good
tutoring.
number of languages being
Yeah.
spoken on campus.
Yeah, as first language, yes.
We can find out.
We can find out.
We can find out.
That was very interesting. Thank you for including it.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
Move approval of the report.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, we accept the report. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
All right, now we will hear from Vice President Strategic Initiative and Outreach Report, Ms. Bartunik.
Okay, good morning, team.
Morning.
Do you want to stretch? Seems like I've been sitting a long time. Okay, I have a couple of updates to share. Dr. Mosier had mentioned the learning spaces and the new classrooms and the new watering hole. Well, Kelly Rogi sent out a press release about all of our activities and renovations, and it was, picked up last month by 41 News. So they sent out a crew, and we actually did a short report in one of the new classrooms. So Dr. Yelena Zegovich and Dean Cleon Wiggins went on air and gave some reports about our new classroom spaces and the importance of having new updated classroom learning spaces. So that was super exciting to see that. So not only are we, as internal customers, interested in that, but the public is as well.
Great.
So, and they're noticing. So I bring that up to a point that people are looking at us, people are noticing what we're doing, so it's very exciting. PCC, we did some new logos and branding at Pioneer Career Center, so those went up, I think just a week or two ago. I haven't been out yet to take photos, but I'll have that next month for you. But the entrance of PCC lacked KCKCC branding, so we did some logos and branding on the front entry of that facility.
Great.
So when you get out there next, take a look.
We'll be there next month.
There we go.
Yeah,
There we go, so we'll be able to see it. Amazon classes are going very well, thanks to many, many people here that helped to make that happen. Our IT, student affairs, academics, they all really pulled together to make sure this went off. I can't say without a hitch, but with a very, very teeny tiny hitch. So it's really going very well, and I was happy to hear that one of our students from the AAUW is an Amazon employee. So we are seeing some of that crossover now, which is exciting. So we are working with them to offer additional 8-week courses that will start in the spring. So stay tuned for that as well. As part of our 100 Stories of Impact initiative, hopefully you've all been able to take a look at that on our website and see some of those short videos that we're capturing. We are finding some amazing alumni. I cannot wait till you guys get to see some of these videos that we have in the can. Super exciting. For an example, I know now why the Marianne Flunders Lodge by the Lake, I know why it's sitting there. Because we've met an alumni who was here, the very first graduating class of the Green Grass campus, told me why that building is there. And you have to wait.
Oh,
So old I know.
So that's called a teaser. And this month, our video that we launched, that Randy produced and launched, is about the Back to School Fair. So talking about the importance of the Wyandotte County Back to School Fair. And when you guys take a look at that, you may recognize the voiceover talent. I'm just saying. If you haven't made your videos yet, I would really like to ask you again if you would consider doing that. As Board of Trustees, you all have a great impact on our students. So I would love to have you come down to the studio and make a brief video if you don't mind. Okay, and in front of you, hopefully you received this via email. This is now something that Kelly is pushing out every Monday. This is our Monday events update. So this is going to the trustees as well as to our retirees. So thank you for helping to gather the retirees' addresses and names. So this is part of your request to make sure that we are communicating more regularly with our community members. So this goes out every Monday. It just highlights some of the important events happening on campus. So if you know of any others that you'd like to receive this, or if someone mentions, hey, what's happening on campus, if you can feed that back to us, we'll make sure that they get through the distribution center for this kind of information. Okay? And Dr. Mosher also touched on working very closely with Donnelly, and we are working on an MOU, an agreement of how that we will work more closely together to help our students move from KCKCC into Donnelly more efficiently. So stay tuned for that as well. That's getting worked on. And everything else, our social media is doing great. We had the back to school fair. We reached over 13,000 people with just one of those posts, so we're really happy to see that we're reaching and engaging with more of our community via social media. And with that, I would welcome a question or two.
I had a quick question. Let me back up. Have you had a chance, soon to be Dr. Bartunik, to distribute the community impact or community outreach packet that you had presented at the last board meeting? I know that we had provided some information on some of the community members who would like to receive that. Have you all had a chance to distribute that yet, or?
Are you asking about the strategic plan?
Right, excuse me,
or
strategic.
the annual?
I thought it was the annual.
Is it the annual report?
Yeah.
That has not been distributed, but we certainly can make sure that happens.
Okay, excellent.
Thank
I
you.
had a little note to self. I thought
Let me write that down as well.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Anything else, Tim?
And then how are things coming with, I know that in our last conversation about the distribution list of that, various people, I think you all were, for the most part, combining lists and such. How's that effort going? Are you all still, or can I get an update on that?
Sure. We have different distribution lists all through our Constant Contact. That's the service that we use to send out pieces like this.
Okay.
So Kelly actually manages that. So we do have either flags or different actually databases within this system. So we can send out to, for example, retirees or retirees only, Board of Trustees, high school counselors, administrators. So thank you guys have sent us names and email addresses. We also worked with admissions and Delphi's team to get information from high school principals and counselors. So we are reaching out, trying to combine those into one, into segmented lists.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the report. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we will hear from our Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Michael Beach.
Thank you for this time. I have to express my thanks to all the members of my team. We have the opportunity here to stand before you and give reports based on our various different divisions, but there would be nothing for us to report if it wasn't for all of those who back us up, who are often behind the scenes and don't get the accolades a lot of times that they deserve. So I appreciate all of those on our facilities team and our finance and business office and our bookstore, central scheduling, our police department, who help this community here, our college and campus community, feel safe and at ease. They're great individuals who are committed to the college, who come to work every day and do their best to do their job, and I'm grateful for them. You have my report in front of you. There's not a lot there to report. We are well underway in regards to our annual financial audit. As a matter of fact, the field work should be wrapped up here within the next couple of days with the anticipation of a final report sometime in October. That effort is going quite well. As reported and as promised in the last board meeting, we did get the CD restored, reopened the account, and the certificate of deposit reopened at Liberty Bank. That did not make it onto the bank report or the financial reports for August, as you'll see in the packet. That's because we weren't quick enough to get it in before the end of the month, but it has since been deposited and is reopened now at this point in time. That is an 18-month CD bearing an interest rate of just under about 1% within that market. Our different auxiliaries, our different groups within the area continue to do well. Our facilities group performs just wonderfully around campus, keeping it cleaned up and keeping the remodels going and the repairs going. They have a lot of major things on their list this year, as we've talked about previously in our finance committee meetings relative to capital projects. Our police department continues to do well, go to trainings. They've underwent an audit through the state highway patrol, faring very well in that as well. Bookstore is off to a great start. Their numbers are up slightly, a little bit higher than our enrollment numbers, which is good. It shows that there's some good things going there as well. As far as financial performance, we're off to a good start with the financial reports. I won't go into a lot of details, but our expenses are tracking very, very nicely. Our revenues are tracking consistently, pretty much for the most part, with last year. There's nothing alarming from our perspective, as we reported to the Finance Committee, that is raising any red flags or colored flags of any color, I guess. We're doing quite well from a financial perspective, and we're off to a good start. With that, I would entertain questions.
I just had a real quick question about the bookstore number, $19,568 for the rented books. Is that a combination of the main campus here, Tech, and the Pioneer Center, or
yes, I believe that's a consolidated combined number.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Mike, I've got a comment. You mentioned campus police, and I noted in the HR report that our chief, Greg Schneider, is retiring.
Yeah.
At the end of the month. And so, Greg and I go way back professionally. He's been a great colleague and friend. He's done amazing things, I think, here with campus police in terms of, really bringing it up, raising the bar, professionalizing it. Keeping good staff people that do all of the things that you mentioned and that you said. So while he's in the room, I wanted to say that. And as one trustee for sure, Greg, congratulations, best wishes. And I know you won't be going very far, but hang around, stay around. Greg's been a great partner in our local Wyandotte County Chiefs and Sheriff group in terms of working together with the other agencies. A small agency like this, has to be able to do that. And, from the Sheriff's Office, and I really I think I can probably speak for the PD, we valued that, professional relationship and partnership there. We have to work together, to police the entire community, including the campus community. And Greg has always been at the table and carrying his share of the load, and sometimes more than his share of the load. So, great job, Greg.
Thank you so much.
As a former colleague, I share those sentiments. Yes.
And I want to thank you for all the times you made us go down to the lower halls during inclement weather, especially if we had a jazz session going on or something. It was important that we were safe. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Congratulations.
That's what we do. Sometimes we have to save people from themselves, right, Greg?
Yes.
All right. Do I have a motion to accept the report?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the report. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. And now we'll hear from our Chief Human Resources Officer, Ms. Christina McGee.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, before I get started, I just want to take the time, Dr. Wilson mentioned in her report that we have an individual that will be leading our career center, and so Mark Turner is here with us, so I just wanted to take the time to introduce our career services coordinator.
Yay. All right. Sorry I wasn't here earlier, I was with a student.
Good answer.
Especially for this chair, I'm telling you.
Well, my report for this month is pretty short, but I wanted to take some time just to recognize and also congratulate one of the team members in the Human Resources Office, and that's Neela Bruner. She's our Staff Development Specialist. She recently received a scholarship for tuition and books towards her, as she's pursuing her associate's degree here at KCKCC. So I just wanted to take the time to congratulate her on that. As far as the employee relations area, the Employee Relations Committee met. This is a group that's comprised of faculty and staff, and so we are this meeting that took place this month is looking at what our goals will be for the year, our initiatives, and really our purpose and our mission is to review as well as develop and implement initiatives that have a focus on employee relations and making sure that we are encouraging and promoting high employee engagement. And so we will continue to make sure that we're aligning our efforts with our strategic plan and also reaching out to other senates to make sure that we're not duplicating work, but also identifying how we can assist with employee engagement. So we did meet this month and we'll continue to meet each month and identify what and continue to work on our goals and initiatives for the year. And last, our talent acquisition area, we are focusing on and testing Applicant Stack, which is the system that we use to screen applicants, making it more efficient for the end users, meaning HR, as well as supervisors. So we're testing new software the software that we have that's capable of just making our process more streamlined, less manual work involved, and easier and more friendly to use. So those are some of the initiatives that we worked on this month. Any questions?
Questions or concerns? Comments? Can I have a motion to accept the report?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the report. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Now we will hear from the Chief Information Officer, Mr. Peter Gabriel.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I thought about getting up here and talking about DNS and active directory upgrades and things like that, but that'll be a little boring.
That'd be awesome.
Well, it would be to me, but. So there are a couple of pictures there as part of my report, the new classrooms across the hall from the President's office. I'm sure you've been in to see them. I wanted to thank everyone. I keep wanting to say buildings and grounds, but facility services. Media services for getting those classrooms ready to go for the first day of classes. And then you may have heard there was some guy's idea to change the way we log into Blackboard.
Some guy.
Yeah, some guy. It was a little rough there the first day, or first couple of days, but we did get it straightened out, and I just wanted to thank computing services, online services, everybody that interacted with the students to help them out, even outside of IT and online services. I'm sure there were plenty of people that helped students figure out how to log in and get that straightened out, so I want to thank everyone for that. And I'll save you the conversation about DNS and Active Directory, but if you have any questions about the report, I'd be glad to take them.
Just a comment I read in there, and I'm pleased to see that for our phone automated system, we have English and Spanish. So I saw that in there, so thank you so much.
Sure.
Gracias.
That should have been my response.
Any other comments? Have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second.
Did I hear a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the report. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we do not have any unfinished business. Our new business, we have the Board of Trustees Policy and Regulations Handbook. Everyone has had an opportunity to review. Any questions or comments?
Yes, I still think we have some typos, and we still have some problems with documentation and referral back to other organizations. And maybe what we need to do is make sure that we do this annually, because we still have some things in here we need to look at, I believe.
Okay, we had an opportunity to...
And I sent in 4 pages. I have them, right here. And I never
accept those and then
got asked to explain or get the questions.
I think it is a good idea to do it annually. We put a lot of time into this. I'm going to move that we accept the handbook and continue to study it for next year. And as Trustee McIntyre says, there may be still some issues, but we need to get this passed so we've got a document to work off of. And so I'm going to move that we accept it with the understanding we still have some work to do with it.
I would just also say that we get a hard copy of this document right now, because if we don't get a copy of it and then it goes to next year, we don't know. So if we could we have this electronic copy, but if we could get an actual hard copy in our hand so that we can really refer to it and know what's in actual print, that is my request.
Yeah, and there is a plan to do that, both on an annual basis and a hard copy bound, so it's easy to carry, and that way it can be referenced as needed as we go through meetings, and as we find, there will be little errors here and there, similar to when we do our catalog and we do a printed copy, and as we go throughout the year, we make notes on what we want to change for next year. So it is a continual process. I think everyone did a terrific job on it, and we did review all of the comments. Some of the comments from different trustees were slightly different regarding the same area. So for this year, what we did is looked at that and had some conference, and then we did need to go with one or the other languages that was put forth. So
and we're waiting.
So I want to make sure I'm clear. So I'm hearing over here 4 pages, and are you saying that none of the comments were used? I just want to make sure I'm clear on your position, Trustee McIntyre.
I just had some questions that weren't answered, but I'm most concerned that we didn't update documentation and connection to other organizations that we're a part of.
Okay, could you cite specifically?
Yes, for example, we had lists of things we were supposed to do, but we didn't know where it came from. So I think we could add wording that more closely aligns us to ACCT and KACCT. And there were some additional things I discovered this last weekend at the conference that we should have had in the glossary of terms. For example, T and some of those other acronyms. So I agree. I think it's going to be a living, working document. We also did not have the organizational chart in there. Were we supposed to include that?
Not in this type of document, I understood.
Okay, I guess I'm used to that in other organizations where you have that in your appendix. It might not be a bad idea for us to consider to put it in there, just so that we have an overall look.
I think you can review it, but you probably wouldn't want it in this particular document. We can discuss it later.
I could put holes in it and put it in the back if no one else wants to do it.
Again, I just want us to get a copy soon versus later so that I can really take a look at it, because if it's electronic, you don't really know, in my opinion, what's going on. If you get a hard copy, then you know what's in there, and then I can really address it. But with it floating around like this, words change, and I want a hard copy.
Well, I think once we approve it, we can probably get the hard copies printed, So I'm going to go ahead and second Ray's motion that we go ahead with keeping this discussion as a part of the, the backdrop, understanding it's a living, breathing thing that we need to be continually looking at and working on.
I
So I'm going
agree.
to second the motion.
I agree, and I think we have opportunities to talk, as we did this morning, on different issues like this. We can always have the pre-meetings, and if you have some concerns, we can discuss it at that time. I have a motion to move and motion and second to approve the document at this point with the process of continuing to review it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. All right, now we will hear from Mr. Beach on the refinance of the college debt.
Thank you for inviting me back. You have before you or in your packet a document that outlines a rough summary of the advantages of refinancing the debt. The purpose here is to gain approval from the trustees to proceed with this, with the understanding that as we move forward, there's no commitment on the college's part to actually refinance. So if we get into a situation where, because of the volatility of interest rates, that it's no longer to our financial advantage to refinance, we can back out anytime we want. That being said, you have before you the numbers. The biggest issue here is the 2010B certificates of participation issue that has about 7 years left on its maturity. We have an opportunity starting January 1 to be able to refinance that with a tax-exempt offering. The advantages of being able to do, or the windows of opportunities to be able to refinance debt tax-exempt, were closed under the current administration, federal government administration, through tax law changes. But they still left some open, so you can refinance as early as 90 days before the call date. So we have a call date on this issue coming up April 1, so we can refinance it as early as January 1. We need to get the process started now. As you can see from this report, the anticipated or projected savings are about $970,000, or about $160,000 a year annually over the remaining life. This refinance will not extend the maturity, but just simply reduce the interest rate.
Excellent.
The net present value of those savings, you can see down below, is approximately $924,000 in literal present value savings.
Yeah.
We have an opportunity to refinance the other two outstanding issues that we have. These would be taxable issues because they don't currently, we're not within that call date window, but even refinancing them with taxable debt, we still have a fairly significant savings in interest savings on those debts, with one being about $94,000 or about $10,000 per year over the remaining issue, and the other one being about $76,000 or $7,500 a year over the remaining maturity. Both of those issues as well would not extend the maturity dates. So these are true cost savings to the college by taking advantage of low interest rates and refinancing this debt. As we move forward, just to kind of give you a brief calendar of what would transpire, even with your approval today to proceed, next month what we would need to do is present an official, legalized, with all the legalese language, a resolution that would be part of the refinancing packet that the board would approve as part of next month's board meeting regarding this. But even after that resolution is approved, once again, that doesn't lock us in.
Yeah.
We can back out anytime we need to. So, any questions?
Just a comment. Mr. Beach, I just wanted to thank you for bringing this to our attention, because I know that we're all very, very busy people. And this is tremendous, is what I will say first. But bringing this to our attention, because we can't always study everything. We can't always have all of the information, so we rely upon professionals such as yourself in order to bring this to light. So I just wanted to thank you very, very much.
I'll second that.
And to put credit where credit is due, I rely on professionals as well. So I've had several several firms that are in the business of being financial advisors through this process reach out to me and say, it's been pretty much over the last, 8 or 9 months, basically continuing to come forward and say, hey, you might want to take a look at refinancing, and I say, send me the numbers, hey, it looks great, well, let's keep talking about it, and we've finally reached a point where we're within that call date window, and so it makes a lot of sense now to jump on this and move forward.
Right, sure does.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
You need an action from us, Mike?
So, yeah, the action would just simply be that the board approves moving forward with looking into refinancing the colleges.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve this recommendation. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Good news, excellent, thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right, well, we